Hello, hello, Saturnians! Guess what? Summer is coming in my part of the world, and I am going on a road trip. I'll drive for 3 days to get to my hometown in the beautiful Brazilian coast, and I'll go to the beaches, enjoy the sun, the wonderful food from my region, and of course, see my family. Due to the pandemic, I haven't seen everyone in quite some time now, and I am excited to spend time with them. I miss the sea so much also. But that means I have to sit down and decide which tarot decks I am taking with me. I wish I could take all my decks, but it's not possible. So I'll show you which decks I am taking with me on my road trip. And that wasn't easy, people. It wasn't easy to decide. So the first deck that I want to show you is the Tarot of the Mermaids. And this is a deck that connects me to my inner child and to my roots. As you guys know, I was born and raised in the beautiful Brazilian coast. And, being by the ocean is part of my spirituality. And because now I live so far away from the ocean, this deck helps me connect to my roots, and it makes sense to me to take this deck on a road trip to the Brazilian beaches. It's very summery, very watery and fluid, and it's perfect. It's a perfect deck to take to the beach. I love this lovers card so much. I love the colors and how the lovers are dancing around each other, almost as if they're being taken by the waters around them. Look, this shell looks almost exactly like my shell over here. I feel that this deck connects me to the place where everything started. The conversations I had with people, the long walks by the ocean, all made me sick after this path. I have to say though that I still haven't found the perfect mermaid deck. I love this one, but it's almost too gentle for me. I wish it was a little bit darker so that I could do shadow work with it also. But this one I use mainly for light-hearted readings, which is okay too, Not all decks have to be dark and shadowy. Look, the purples. I love the purples in this deck. So another deck that I want to show you that I am also taking with me is the Tarot of the Pirates, that goes really well with the Tarot of the Mermaids. And this one is a little bit more masculine, while the Tarot of the Mermaids is more gentle and fluid and feminine. So I like to use these two decks together for this reason. And there are some cards in this deck that I really, really love. Ace of Swords. I love the coconut trees in this deck. They are everywhere in this deck because this is exactly the landscape of the region where I was born and raised. So when I think of my hometown, I think of coconut trees, a beautiful beach. And when I was little, I used to go to my grandparents' beach house, and I had lots of cousins there also, and we would spend all day pretending we were pirates and mermaids. Love, love, love this world card because it's a map, and some of you already know that I love maps. Ten of Cups with the beautiful rainbow in the background. And of course, sailors. Now, I sing you a Brazilian song that's about sailors, which is very popular in my country. Okay. Eu não sou daqui, eu não tenho amor. Eu sou da Bahia, de São Salvador. Ô marinheiro, 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 só o que te ensinou a nadar. Marinheiro, só ou foi o tombo do navio. Marinheiro, só ou foi o balanço do mar. Marinheiro, só lá vem, como ele vem faceiro, todo de branco, com seu bonezinho. Marinheiro, só. I love when the sun card is really joyful like this one. Ace of Pentacles, Five of Swords. I really like this Five of Swords. The Tower. So this is a playful deck that gives me crystal clear readings, and I love it. Okay, so next I want to show you the Afro-Brazilian tarot deck. And this deck is very special to me. I have a full walkthrough of this deck. I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description box so that you can see all the cards. And this deck communicates really well with the tarot of the mermaids and the tarot of the pirates, because the Afro-Brazilian religions developed in Brazil, in the coast, around the sea. So many elements of Afro-Brazilian religions relate to the sea life. Mermaids, sailors, fishermen. I love these magicians so much. Look at this hand coming from another realm to manipulate the whole divination process. The magician here is just a vessel through which spirit communicates. I think it's a very powerful card. The Hanged Man, it means looking at things from a different perspective, and in this case, from third person's perspective, so that you can see the bigger picture. Ten of Cups, doing some offerings. This deck has its own system, so it's not an easy deck to work with unless you are really familiar with the orishas. And this deck is based on Candomblé tradition, so it's not easy to find books in English about this deck. So this is also why I plan to take to the beach with me to its natural habitat and become inspired to work with this deck and, you know, give you guys some information about how to use it, because there are many people that watch my channel that ask me about this deck. So I'm really excited to take it with me to the beach. In here I have the Herbal Tarot, and I think this deck also communicates well with the Afro-Brazilian tarot, because Afro-Brazilian religions use specific herbs in their rituals and in their practices, and especially Candomblé tradition is very strict about the ingredients that you use for certain rituals. When you offer something to the orisha, you have to use the right ingredients. If you mess up with the ingredients, then you don't have the desired outcome. So it's very important in Afro-Brazilian religions to study the herbs and use the right herbs. And this is something that I've been willing to do. I've been willing to expand my knowledge about herbs this year. So it's perfect. I love this Tower card, by the way. It's my favorite in this deck. Also love this Ten of Swords. And there are some interesting cards in this deck. I not always see the connection between the herb and the meaning of the card, but I am working on that. My local herbs are not represented in this deck, and I mainly use local herbs in my practice. So this is going to be a little bit challenging, but I am determined to learn more about this deck and how to use it. I actually really like this star card also. It's a cute Two of Cups. And here is my Trippin Waite tarot deck. And the reason why I want to take this deck with me is because it's very bright and colorful and summery. And this is a deck that speaks to my shadow self, even though it's fun, bright, and colorful. This deck revealed itself to be very deep for me because I can see a connection between this deck and my practice and psychedelics. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I've had some epiphanies using psychedelics in my practice, so it's really deep for me, even though it is supposed to be just fun, bright, and colorful, you see? And I also think that this deck kind of communicates with the Herbal Tarot also, because, you know, plant medicine. That makes sense, right? So the most interesting thing about this deck for me is that at first sight, it doesn't appear to be a deep deck at all. Only after working with it for a while, I have seen the connection between the images and my own personal experience with psychedelics. So this is what makes it interesting for me. And here is the Muse Tarot. And the color palette in this deck is just so beautiful. And I am excited to work with it. I've been working with it for a while now. And I have to say that at first it was really difficult for me to connect with this deck because there are only females in this deck. And I usually like the balance between yin and yang, male and female energies in a deck, because this is part of the way I interpret the meanings of the cards. However, I have to say that this deck surprised me. And even though there are only females in these cards, I can still see yang energy. And this is why I think this deck added another dimension to my readings. So I am really excited to take this deck with me and work more with it. I also think my family will love this deck for some reason. I think my mom would absolutely love these cards. So I am excited to give her a tarot reading using the Muse Tarot. Some beautiful cards here. And this is the Nosotras Tarot. This is a beautiful tarot created by a Brazilian artist. I have a full walkthrough, and I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description box so that you can see all the cards in this deck. There are some beautiful cards, but again, this is another deck that portrays only females. And this is the reason why I haven't worked with it so much. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity to work more with this deck. I think I'm going to pair it with the Muse Tarot and see what happens. And I am excited. I love this Two of Swords. So beautiful. Eight of Wands, lots of witches flying around on their brooms. The Universe card. There are really some beautiful cards, and I am working on creating a connection with these cards because there are some beautiful images here. Look at this patterned dress. So beautiful. Death card. This is the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, so I am looking forward to start working with this deck this summer. And now I will show you how these decks go together, because I am seeing these decks as items in a capsule wardrobe, but the wardrobe is full of tarot decks. Does that make any sense? Look at this moon card from the Tarot of the Pirates and the Devil card from the Tarot of the Mermaids. You can see how they go together. There is a similar, element here. This is the Nine of Pentacles from the Tarot of the Mermaid and the Sun card from the Tarot of the Pirates. There is a certain chemistry between these two decks with the feminine fluidity of the Tarot of the Mermaids and the active, bold cards from the Tarot of the Pirates. So I think they go really well together. This is the Seven of Wands and the Two of Wands with similar elements. And this is the Tower card from the Tarot of the Mermaids and the Tower card from the Trippin Waite Tarot. And you can see how there are similar elements also. So I can also use these two decks together. This is the Ten of Cups from the Herbal Tarot. And here it says marijuana, so it makes sense that it's the Ten of Cups, I guess. Yeah, with the rainbow in the background. And this is the Seven of Pentacles from the Trippin Waite Tarot, which also makes sense. So you can see there is a similar element here as well. So I can use these two decks together. And here is another fierce and pretty lady from the Nosotras Tarot, which is the Seven of Wands. And I can see similar elements here. They're both active cards. You see in these two cards, the eyes are covered for different reasons, but still sharing the same symbolism. So I think this is interesting. And it also goes with the High Priestess from the Nosotras Tarot. This is Iemanjá, the Empress from the Afro-Brazilian Tarot. And this is the King of Wands in the Nosotras Tarot. I also see a similar element here. And here is the Four of Pentacles in the Muse Tarot. And the Magician from the Nosotras Tarot. You see how their facial expressions are similar. They have their eyes closed, completely immersed in their thing. Here is a different take, but I can still see a similar vibe here. This is the Queen of Wands from the Muse Tarot and the Empress from the Nosotras Tarot. Again, they are fully immersed in their energy. Hence the eyes closed. Queen of Materials from the Muse Tarot. Two of Wands from the Nosotras Tarot. Can you see how these two images go really well together? We have similar elements. We have flowers. We have a good vibe going on. So these are the decks that I'm taking with me on a road trip around the Brazilian beaches. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below in the comments whether you've worked with any of these decks. What are your thoughts about these decks? And next time I talk to you, I'll be on the road, so I'll be showing you the beautiful Brazilian beaches. And I can't wait. I'm excited to travel. So I see you next time. Bye bye.